Hey everyone, welcome back to Car Flash, the channel where glossy brochures, dealership hype, and overly polished marketing talk all get stripped away so we can focus on the real deal, how cars actually look, feel, and perform when you see them up close in the real world. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, because we bring you honest reviews, not showroom fairy tales. Today, we're diving into a car that has been a sweet spot in the crossover market since its launch, the Mazda CX-30. And now, for 2026, Mazda has given this compact SUV some pretty interesting updates that might just make it one of the most balanced small crossovers out there. So let's walk through everything in design, interior, performance, tech, pricing, and then I'll give you my honest verdict on whether the 2026 Mazda CX-30 deserves your attention or not. Exterior. The first impression of any car always comes from its front end, and the 2026 Mazda CX-30 keeps Mazda's signature design language but sharpens it up. You've got that wide, shield-like grille that still flows into slim LED headlights, but the lights now have a sleeker, more blade-like appearance. Mazda calls this evolution of their Kodo design language, and it really does give the CX-30 a more upscale look than you'd expect for a compact crossover. The daytime running lights carve out a very distinctive signature, and on higher trims you get adaptive LED headlights with an almost jewel-like inner structure. The lower bumper is a bit more sculpted than before, with larger side intakes that are mostly decorative, but they do help balance out the front fascia visually. And the hood still carries those clean, flowing lines that add a sense of motion even when the car's standing still. Moving over to the side, this is where the CX-30 really sets itself apart from a typical compact SUV. Mazda designed it with a coupe-like silhouette, so you get a long hood, a slightly sloping roof line, and proportions that make it look more premium than something you'd find in this price range. The wheel arches are pronounced and lined with protective cladding, but unlike some rivals, Mazda manages to make it look sporty rather than rugged. For 2026, new wheel designs are available, ranging from 17-inch alloys on the base trims up to 19-inch multi-spoke wheels on the higher ones, which fill out the arches nicely. The shoulder line runs smoothly from the headlights all the way to the taillights, giving the profile a fluid shape, and the blacked-out pillars help create that floating roof effect. It's stylish without being over the top, and Mazda clearly wants you to feel like you're buying into a slightly more sophisticated club than the typical crossover crowd. At the back, Mazda keeps things clean and modern. The taillights are slim LED units that echo the front design, with a circular light signature inside that's instantly recognizable. The rear window is slightly raked, which helps emphasize the sporty stance, and there's a subtle roof spoiler that extends just enough to give it some edge. The bumper design is neat, and dual exhaust outlets on certain trims are real, not fake, which is a refreshing change in today's market. A new metallic trim piece runs across the lower section, giving the rear some extra width visually. Overall, the back end is simple but elegant, and it ties in perfectly with the premium feel Mazda is aiming for. Interior. Step inside, and this is where Mazda really likes to separate itself from competitors like the Honda HR-V or Toyota Corolla Cross. The cabin of the 2026 CX-30 feels much closer to what you'd expect in a luxury compact SUV than an affordable mainstream one. Mazda continues to emphasize simplicity and driver focus. You've got the clean, horizontal dashboard layout, soft touch materials almost everywhere you look, and trim options that include leather upholstery, contrast stitching, and metallic accents that don't feel cheap. The steering wheel is a compact, sporty design with thin spokes and tactile buttons. In terms of tech, Mazda has made a big leap this year. The central display is now a 12.3-inch screen, replacing the smaller one from before, and it finally supports full wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, along with the new interface that's more responsive and less clunky than what Mazda offered before. There's also a fully digital instrument cluster available on higher trims, which provides crisp graphics while still keeping that traditional Mazda minimalism intact. The center console keeps the rotary dial for infotainment, which some people love for distraction-free use, while others wish it had a full touchscreen. But it's a system that works well once you get used to it. Space-wise, the CX-30 is still in that sweet spot between subcompact and compact. The front seats are supportive and designed with Mazda's human-centric philosophy, meaning they're built to keep your posture natural on long drives. Your legroom is decent for this class, though taller passengers might find it tight on longer journeys. The cargo area is practical, with just over 20 cubic feet of space behind the seats, and more when you fold them down. It's not the biggest in its category, but the trade-off is that coupe-like styling and premium feel. Performance under the hood, the 2026 CX-30 keeps things familiar but refined. The standard engine is a naturally aspirated 2.5-liter four-cylinder making around 191 horsepower, paired to a 6-speed automatic transmission. It's not the most powerful, but it delivers smooth, linear power and works well for everyday driving. The highlight, though, is still the optional 2.5-liter turbocharged engine, which pumps out up to 250 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque when you run it on premium fuel. That's a serious bump in performance for a car in this class, and it makes the CX-30 feel properly quick, with a 0-60 time in the low 6-second range. Mazda's tuning is all about making the drive enjoyable, and you really feel that in the CX-30. The steering is precise and nicely weighted, body roll is well controlled, and the suspension strikes a nice balance between comfort and agility. All-wheel drive is standard across the lineup now, which gives you added confidence in bad weather and helps put down the turbo's power effectively. Fuel economy sits around 26 miles per gallon city and 33 highway for the BAS engine, while the turbo is a little thirstier, but still competitive. When it comes to safety and driver assistance, Mazda packs the CX-30 with the solid suite of standard features. You get adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, blind spot monitoring, and rear cross-traffic alert across all trims, with higher trims adding features like a 360-degree camera and traffic jam assist. It's a car designed to keep you safe while still letting you enjoy the drive. Now let's talk pricing, because this is where things get interesting. The 2026 Mazda CX-30 starts at around $26,000 for the BAS trim, which gives you a well-equipped small crossover with premium styling. Mid-level trims like the Preferred or Carbon Edition come in around the $30,000 to $33,000 range, and those add more tech and nicer interior touches. If you want the turbocharged engine and all the goodies, you're looking at closer to $37,000 to $39,000, depending on options. Compared to rivals, it's a little pricier than the most basic offerings, but Mazda positions the CX-30 as more of a premium choice in the mainstream segment, and honestly, when you sit inside and drive it, you can see where that extra money went. So, after spending time with the 2026 Mazda CX-30, what's the verdict? It's not the biggest crossover, and it's not the cheapest, but it strikes an almost perfect balance between style, driving fun, and premium feel. If you're someone who values the driving experience and wants something that looks and feels a little more upscale without jumping into full luxury territory, the CX-30 is hard to beat. The updates for 2026 sharpen the design, improve the tech, and keep it competitive in a market that's more crowded than ever. That wraps up today's review. Let me know in the comments what you think about the 2026 Mazda CX-30. Does it live up to its reputation, or would you go for something else in this price range? Don't forget to hit like if this video helped you out, subscribe to Car Flash for more honest reviews, and ring the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.